Okay, I think we'll kick things off. Um, so start by introducing myself, John Findlay, CEO of Lemonade LXP. Um, while the billing on the LinkedIn ad and stuff said that I was going to be a speaker, I really am not qualified to be one. So that we've got three very qualified people to speak on the subject of AI and getting beyond the buzz, and just talking about how we can drive business impact, how FIs can drive business impact. So I want to welcome everybody, but I want to start with a little bit of housekeeping. Really encourage you to ask questions in the chat. And this is meant to be a bit more of a fireside chat, a little conversation. So certainly feel free to interrupt with a message in there, and I'll do my best to keep an eye on it and bubble all those questions up to the panelists. So thanks to everybody for coming. Let's get things going. And as I mentioned, fireside chat. So weigh in. So first we have Jackie Verkel, who's the Chief Administrative Officer and EVP at BAC Community Bank. Jackie, thank you for joining.
Well, thank you. I'm really excited to join this conversation. I know the three focus areas that we introduced: fostering the culture that empowers itself to support frontline staff, improving quality of customer relationships, and driving operational efficiencies. Those are all three near and dear to our hearts here at BAC Community Bank.
Next up, we have Slaven Bilek, who is the CEO and co-founder of Agent IQ. Thanks, Slaven. I appreciate you joining.
Happy to be here. Very excited to talk about AI and applications of AI. As a little bit of introduction, before starting Agent IQ, I spent 12 years at Google, leading various search and AI initiatives. And I was working in AI when practical applications were just becoming reality. And it's kind of exciting to see kind of the progress we have made in recent years. As far as Agent IQ is concerned, we help financial institutions provide digital relationship banking service, providing ability to have personal banker connection for each of their customers, and using AI to make it more efficient and scalable. We don't think of ourselves as an AI solution, but definitely thinking of ways that AI can be incorporated into our platform to help make the engagement more efficient, more scalable, and ultimately more profitable for the financial institution.
Awesome. And just for everybody, you might not know, Google is a big search engine. That's where Slaven was working. I know a lot of people don't know that company, so just wanted to make sure. Also, we have Alex Lemaire, CTO of Lemonade LXP. Alex, thanks for joining.
Yeah, my pleasure. Happy to be here. It'll be nice to step out of the trenches where I usually sit. Some background for me. I definitely echo what Slaven was mentioning. Started studying AI in 96, 97. Things definitely weren't as practical back then. You were hand coding your entropy in code, and it wasn't fun, but it worked. And so it's really nice to be alive at a time where these packaged services make things rapid and easy. And for us, we've been exploring that with applications and learning and development. And so with Lemonade LXP, that's, I think, the vantage point that I can offer today.
Great. Well, we really appreciate everybody being here. I'm definitely looking forward to this conversation. I wanted to ask you, Slaven, maybe you could give us your sense of an overview of the significance of AI in the financial industry and how you see it being used today.
The question, I think that is really important question, how to think about AI in general and how, what are the applications that are currently deployed in financial institutions, and ultimately how to deploy it in your own institution. And I'd like to say, like, AI, although we talk about it as a single thing, it's really not one thing. The best way to think about it is as a collection of tools, solutions that can be very effective to solve specific problems, right? And we just saw one example in a very, very nice game that Alex demonstrated, but there's other types of AI that can be applied to different problems. So it really is important to apply the right solution to the right problem. Otherwise, it can lead to bad things, as again we have seen. And there's no magic. Ultimately, what you invest in it is what you get. And it's AI also, all of these models, all of these tools, it can be thought of as living things. So they evolve over time, they improve, and they need to change because the world around us is also changing. So there's always kind of needed investment that is needed to kind of keep them up and running. As far as the direct applications right now, you can think of it as in three ways. It's kind of customer facing, banker facing, and kind of back office. Customer facing applications, typical kind of customer service, chatbots. We have seen many of these out there, but also in applications like KYC and authentication, trying to recognize specific customers, verify them, and similar. Some very, very effective deployments out there. Banker facing, typically trying to help make the bankers more efficient. It can be in terms of helping them search and find information when needed, but also automating specific workflows to complete certain tasks. And again, there's several very interesting applications in this space. And then last, kind of back office, things about general kind of risk assessment, underwriting, things like estimating risk of specific loan portfolio, or regulatory compliance, identifying things that are maybe not the way they should be, and similar. So each of these groups of applications, customer facing, banker facing, and back office, has their own different risk profile. And ultimately, the biggest question for any institution is, where should I start and how much risk appetite do I have? And the risk is taken with the goal of ultimately getting a more efficient solution in place, getting more value out of your investment in the AI system and into other resources like your people.
And so I'm at a lot of events, as are you, and it seems that every vendor that stands up and does a presentation or talks is talking about AI and how their platform has it. And I wonder, do you see, and Alex, you may be able to speak to this too, misconceptions about AI, things that are positioned as AI that maybe aren't truly AI? Can you help sort of uncloud those waters a little bit?
Sure. So there's definitely, a lot of buzz around AI. I think ChatGPT, I guess, was released about 18 months ago now, and it was a major improvement over the prior generation technology, and for all the right reason, got a lot of attention and created a lot of buzz. Nonetheless, in my mind, and as we have seen from the examples, that Alex has shown, it is, while it's very interesting and kind of playful, and it is not necessarily ready for prime time deployment, and especially not in a very compliant and regulatory sensitive environment like banking. Nonetheless, from a vendor perspective, there is interest to kind of position yourself in that similar, ballpark, and kind of be associated with advanced technologies as ChatGPT. And there's definitely some of that. But the way to think about it from the financial institution perspective is really focus on the value that the solution provides. Technology is evolving all the time, and ultimately will keep changing. And you're trying to get the latest technology is, to some extent, a futile task because there's so many changes happening all the time. And all the financial institutions I talk to have resource constraints, they have timing constraints. So, trying to jump on the latest bandwagon is not needed. And ultimately, the best approach is to focus on solving the real problems they're facing, and make sure that they're providing solutions which are helping their customers, their bankers, or their bottom line.
I'd like to lean in a little bit to something you said, and Alex, you're welcome to weigh in on this too. You said that ChatGPT isn't really ready to be used in a sort of a commercial way. what would you guys say are the reasons that for your saying that? Like what's it missing, or what does it need to do to be ready for commercial use?
So let me give it the first stab, and then Alex, I'm sure, has a
Yeah,
thing.
I'll feel that.
Like any AI system, any AI tool out there, it's basically limited by its design and its implementation. ChatGPT is basically a conversational engine, and its goal, kind of what it's trained for, is really to make human natural sounding responses.
Mhm.
That does not require the responses to be correct. They can be, hallucinated, so they sound good. They can be manufactured. They can be misconstrued, from different contexts. And as long as they sound good, the model will rate them with a, very high grade. Again, and they do sound very polished. Nonetheless, they might not be factual, and shortcomings in the implementation come from kind of data it's been trained on. I believe, again, the first time it was released, it was data that was like 2 years old as the
Mhm.
newest. So none of the new information, events in the changing world were not covered by it. So anything pertaining to things that have happened after it was created would not be, not necessarily be factual. And if they changed, would not, would likely not be factual. Also, training on specific types of corpora, web pages. So maybe not necessarily as much legal or regulatory compliant language. So not as much sensitivity to those. So these are kind of limitations that make it
Mhm.
hard to deploy and rely on. Nonetheless,
And plus,
it's providing value.
yeah, and I was going to say, to build on what you said, Slav, and also what we've seen happen over the last few months is the content guidelines, they call them, have started to narrow the responses, right? So it's like a post filtering that occurs. We at Lemonade, like we kind of saw that not coming in a sense, but we wanted to be able to leverage our own embeddings and our own pre-training, so quietly in secret, which is kind of why we tilted towards Bedrock. But your question, John, was like, when we go to conferences and seminars and so forth, everyone's got AI on their poster boards. But I think for me too is, something Slavin mentioned earlier has always driven me crazy, which is AI is, to me, is a terrible word. You've over the years you've said, "Oh, can we stick AI on?" Like, it's not AI. You're talking about NLP. You can't put them all in the same bucket. I think too that the way, start with your problem. Don't start with we need AI today. Start with what you're trying to fix. And then you're going to shop for those solutions differently. The way that you buy something that works with an LLM should be different from the way that you buy something that's going to process your internal information into embeddings that you're then going to derive information from, right?
The internal stuff, Alex, just to weigh in, the internal stuff seems to be a big concern for financial institutions. Because
It
when
should.
you and I talked about this, one of the concerns of ChatGPT is a privacy issue, right?
Well, I think it might have been the product of their own marketing, in the sense that, if you're ChatGPT, you want everything running on there, right? You get on the enterprise plan, you give the illusion that everything works. But there are strategies out there that I think get ignored for want of speed, or for want of, oh, this looks like it works. Retrieval augmented generation is a good one. If you have internal databases that have the stuff you need, you have existing systems that work, maybe you can leverage that to get to a better solution more rapidly without trying to vectorize everything that you own, right? Like there's a right way to solve each thing. But like we're kind of all mentioning here, we're getting caught up in the marketing instead of focusing on the science, right?
That's interesting. You guys both talked about training the prompt. And I don't know that for me as a person who doesn't know that much about AI, if I'm a financial institution and I'm looking at an AI solution, should I be concerned about how the prompt is trained, or is that something I do myself? Like, how does that all happen?
Well, the prompt is how you give, but the thing that you're training is the data that your engine is able to work with, which, as mentioned, needs maintenance. You know, the world changes. You can't have your training set stuck in the dark ages, right?
We have a question coming in. Someone has asked for a high-level summary of NLP and AI and LLM.
Okay, maybe I can give it a try. So AI is the most general term here, and it kind of tends to encompass everything that has to do with machines using data to produce predictive or novel answers. You can think of it as giving you a credit score decision, or giving you a response to a question, or generating some music. All of that would be kind of AI. NLP is specifically related to natural language processing. So it's subset that is focusing on dealing with human language, kind of how we talk, and that can be mostly text, written format, or in some cases it is voice, but it is text, natural language, kind of how we speak. And ultimately, goal is to have machines understand humans and be able to converse with humans. Right?
Yeah.
LLM, so just LLM is a more recent technique of AI and NLP,
That's it.
large language models, basically training better models that sound more like human or speak more like humans and understand humans better. So you can think of it as ChatGPT as a kind of most prominent application of LLM.
So that's going to teach our kids how to talk to other people, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, translation is a very interesting application, right? Where you actually can talk to people in different languages.
Well, that's cool.
One reason, that's another application that, say, Agent IQ provides another platform and is very, very effective in expanding the horizon and kind of the possibilities.
That's very cool. And we have another
Yeah.
question here. Someone has asked thoughts on Microsoft Copilot. Are you using it internally, and is it safe?
Well, just want to backtrack real quick. LLM and NLP are not mutually exclusive. So while you talk about these things, remember that an LLM as a learning model can perform natural language processing tasks, right? Classifying text, that kind of thing. Microsoft Copilot is an interesting thing. We've toyed with its counterpart. We use JetBrains AI because of the languages that we use. Are they safe? Is the question. I would say you have a training exercise in front of you there. You need to train your people. And it's training that's adjacent to training that they should already be undertaking, which is, don't paste secrets in public. Don't send server keys out through Copilot. And these are things that inadvertently can occur if you haven't structured your repositories in a certain way, or if you aren't treating classified or sensitive knowledge very carefully. So as with most things on the internet, they're as safe as the humans that are using them. There's nothing inherently wrong with them. And quite close to the example that I shared, don't just run the code that it gives you back if that's what you're doing, right? Like it's excellent at creating annotations. It can read your code and give you your comments. It's really good at that. I don't think it's quite at a phase where I would be comfortable just trusting its output. Do I think one day that senior architects, in coding, their job will be more assemblers than coders? Probably. But for now, exercise caution is my advice.
Great. Thank you for that. So I want to turn the focus to
Sorry,
Jackie.
I'd like to add a little
sorry.
bit. And yeah, the point I'd like to make is really human in the loop types of applications of AI are very effective and probably the safest way to deploy any AI application in the system. And that really means that AI is providing suggestions and kind of tries to reduce the amount of the work that the human does, but ultimately the human is acting as an editor and approver and making sure that the final output is appropriate. That way you can get kind of the best combination of efficiency and actual value with very little risk. And again, this is one of the ways that we like to deploy AI within our platform to really get the benefit, but not expose financial institutions to any risk.
Right. So what I got out of that is robots aren't going to get rid of us all quite yet. That's
Well,
what I heard.
I think the opposite is happening. People are saying, wow, look at what our people can do with robots. Let's get more people and more robots, right? I think there's been a wave of that. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, I want to shift over to Jackie, because Jackie, you got an interesting story to tell, and we've let the no offense, guys, but we've let the nerds talk too much. So we're going to move over here. So Jackie, can you tell us a little bit about BAC Community Bank? I know that you're an Agent IQ client, and I'd love to understand how the partnership is, how you've leveraged the partnership and how it's working for you. So I wanted to hand it over to you for a bit.
Okay, well, thank you. And I've enjoyed listening to our technical experts. I'm not going to call them nerds. But I have enjoyed listening to you. So a fair bit of what you're saying is a little over my head, which is why I'm glad we've got a good technology partner to work with that understands this and can make sure that as we are creating systems that use AI, that we are doing it in a safe manner. Just a quick background on our bank. BAC Community Bank was founded in 1965. Our name originally included the words agriculture and commerce. We are still highly focused on commerce. Agriculture is probably about 10% of our business, so we moved that out of our name. We are an $800 million bank, focused again on commercial customers and relationship banking. We have a single owner, a very hands-on management, a management team that really likes to dig into the details and understand what we're doing. We have always been somewhat on towards the leading edge of technology. Way back when we were one of the first banks to offer online cash management for our commercial customers. And at that time they had to dial in through a modem. So that's how far back we're going.
Brings back memories, eh?
In 2019, and I remember the year because it was before COVID, we launched a digital first strategy. And with that strategy, what we wanted to do was make available to our customers anything that you can do in the branch, you can do through an electronic channel. As we were moving through that, of course, we hit the pandemic. We still managed to provide services to customers. We never closed a branch during the pandemic. So the fact that we were starting our digital progression, I think, influenced that and helped us out a lot through that. And really, as we went through our digital first strategy, that is how we grew into our partnership with Agent IQ. And we started out looking at the ICBA ThinkTech, and ThinkTech provided us a whole variety of different vendors that we could look at. We looked at them, we narrowed it down to areas that we thought would really fit our business and our customers. So we're a relationship bank, and we're trying to do things as digitally as possible. And the solution that Agent IQ offered was a really good fit for them. We didn't just jump into Agent IQ, though. We went through a lot of due diligence. We looked at a variety of vendors who offered similar products. There's nothing exactly the same out there in the market, but we looked at similar products and narrowed it down so that Agent IQ was the company that we decided to go with. What one of the things that has been really beneficial to us is how much Agent IQ is willing to customize their product for us. Again, we're a commercial bank. We focus on relationship banking. And so we wanted to be able to connect with our commercial customers and connect them with their relationship managers using the AIQ tool. As I showed you at the beginning, we named our tool Smart Alec. He answers questions for various segments of our customers. He talks to anonymous customers who just want to chat with us, offers them self-service so that they can answer their own questions if it's after hours, tells them we'll get back to them if it's if they have a question they need answered. We have authenticated customers who are registered and logged in, and they have their own personal bankers that they can talk to. And then what we did that's different and special is we added our VIP customers, which are our key commercial customers that have relationship managers. And so they have a team, and their team is set up within Agent IQ, so they can either log in on their desktop or through their smartphone, and they can ask a question of their banker. And it's the person that they know, the same person they talk to face to face. The conversations are continuing and ongoing, so they can look back in their conversation string to see what they asked before and follow the conversation forward. And adding that VIP customer really is one of the things we really like about working with Agent IQ, and that they were able to do that for us and customize the solution just to us. And none of that's really, from my perspective, AI, right?
Right.
So where the AI comes in is the information that is provided to us about our customers. We can have, so we have reporting, and the AI goes into all of our conversations that our customers are having and identifies what the topic is. It tags it. So we can look and see what our customers are asking about. And we can look at that information by segment. Is it just a general customer? Is it is it a customer who is one of our authenticated customers, or is it our VIP customers? So we can see what different types of conversations are being had by the different segments of our population.
Jackie, I have a question if I could just interrupt. Sanjeev has asked, said, great digital example. What were some of the integrations needed with your community bank?
So that is the really cool thing about Agent IQ. They did everything. They did all the heavy lifting. We have a website that we go to from the banker perspective. And I can probably do a quick screenshot of that as well. Okay. Okay. So this is what the tool looks like from the back end. It's just a website that we go to. We can see our conversations. This is our UAT version. So this is not real data, but this is our internal practice sessions. So this is how we look at our customer conversations. Easy peasy. Was super easy to implement. We did set up the app, but it was no more complicated than setting up our online banking app. And again, Agent IQ did most of the work. They also set up the security side of it so that we know that we're using a legitimate vendor and we're as safe as we can be for ourselves and our customers.
Yep.
Excellent.
And
I'm curious.
So just to add a little bit more generally, so we do not require any specific integration to go live with our solution. We do integrate into many mobile and online banking platforms. We also offer standalone access, and we do provide authentication mechanism too, if that's desirable, as well as anonymous chat. So you can basically, any institution can decide what footprint they would go live with. And in case of BAC, we went with a fairly light footprint where we were able to do pretty much all the configuration and kind of get them live in the manner that they preferred without having any core integration or any kind of low-level technical work done by them.
Right. Thank you. So Jackie, I'm curious, it sounds like you've been able to automate a certain amount of that, the customer facing service process with Agent IQ. I wonder, have you been able to measure the impact on operational efficiencies?
We're still in process of doing that. What we're trying to do is identify the change in our call volume and decrease in phone calls and shift into the conversations within SmartAlec. We can easily quantify the number of conversations we have, the number of customers we have. It's just, is that new? Is that customers who are using this approach to contact us that otherwise wouldn't have asked the questions? Or is it people that are no longer picking up the phone and calling our call center and are just using AIQ instead?
Right.
And on the commercial side, it's easy to quantify because it's a very specific pool of customers. And we can say, of our 10 customers that we've put on AIQ, 8 of them are using SmartAlec and 2 of them are not. So that's really easy.
So I have a question here. Isabella is asking, is it separate or integrated into your online banking?
For us, it's separated because of the core provider that we work with.
Thank you. And then Jeff is asking, if we wanted to pull a scorecard, CRM info, of info on the customer when the chat started, so it was front and center for the banker, could it do that?
I'll let Slavin answer that more, but there is a small CRM component included in AIQ. So you can keep notes on your customers. For our institution, it does not integrate with any other CRM, but I'll let Slavin tell you if it can for others.
Yes, so we do allow integrations into existing CRMs if you have one, and we typically see that bigger banks, maybe 5 billion plus, might have Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, or some such, and we can integrate and pull that information as needed. Some smaller banks under $1 billion typically will not have a standalone CRM, and then we have functionality in our platform which can act as CRM, and that is what BAC is using. Also, we do have integrations into online and mobile banking, and depending of what you use, we might be able to support it out of the box. In case of BAC, their vendor has very strict integration policies, and we have some workarounds for that.
Right. Thank you. So shifting back to sort of we're coming up on time soon, so I just wanted to get some thoughts from the three of you on where you see AI shaping the future of customer interactions with financial institutions. Where do you see it going? I'll leave it open to whomever.
I'm going to jump in first.
Okay, you go.
I'm going to have the simplest answer. I see, in non-financial institution applications, the customer interaction, your Amazon, your UPS, the other areas where technology is not probably quite so regulated. I think for financial institutions, we're probably heading that direction. But I think we need to take caution and keep the human element in on a fairly consistent basis, because I think we've all had experiences with those other systems that are just not great. And the AI is really, really well trained. they're not going to be able to take over for all the humans and the personal relationship that banks have with their customers.
Great, thank you. Alex, you want to weigh in on where you think it's going to
Yeah,
go?
sure. I mean, based on my work life right now, we put things in front of people that serve as personal coaches in a way, something that you couldn't do at scale. And that comfort level will bring benefits across the board, reduced attrition, higher comfort when talking with people, probably higher product recommendations, more successful closing on sale of products because they're able to practice in a safe space that's highly challenging still and highly efficient, the same way that a human coach would be. That's one aspect, making humans better. And from my academic experience, I think, the things that I've seen are when you have this engine that's almost alive, that's processing large sets of data to find underreported cohorts in your data sets that you wouldn't have computed otherwise. Can that lead to better personalization, better fraud management, better product recommendations? These models are able to process massive amounts of data with some creativity that SQL database won't have, right? So I think the future holds a space for humans. We'll have to re-engineer ourselves a little bit to understand that these are aids, they're not opponents. It's not like Skynet and Terminator where they're about to get us, right? We can be better versions of ourselves, helping others armed with all of this amazing tooling that we're in the throes of developing.
Okay, Slavin, you're on the hot seat. Where's it all heading?
I think, in a short future, we definitely will see more of kind of what we are striving to do now, really helping humans be more efficient and more scalable. Having AI take on more mundane tasks and leave, say, humans to do kind of higher level interactions with the customers, building those relationships. From a financial institution perspective, really spending time where spending time is valuable and not doing the repetitive, mundane task that can be automated. And I think that's really kind of short to medium term benefit that we can expect to see. Getting a little bit wilder, looking a little bit further in the future, I do think we will evolve into kind of society where there'll be many AIs and each of us will have our own version of Pocket AI that will be maybe duking it out with other AIs, trying to negotiate some things before we have to get involved. So a lot of different AIs that are groomed for our individual needs and individual institution needs. But that's a little bit, further in the future and a little bit wilder angle for sure.
Very cool. So Jackie, going back to BAC, what's next for you guys on your AI roadmap and your journey?
Well, we're probably a little bit boring on that because we have a lot of technology that we're using. This year, our focus is really on using everything as effectively as we can. So for us, for our AI journey, it's a little bit on pause. But we're going to continue to look and see what else is available out in the world. Filling in, seeing what else is out there. We took a fairly conservative approach to AI in the first place, starting with a single vendor and a single product that we feel really comfortable with. So next step is just going to be moving along that path.
Great. Thank you for that. So Alex, what about you in terms of what you're thinking about the future for roadmap for Lemonade and AI?
Oh, sorry, I was dreaming. I was thinking of an AI dishwasher that tells my kids to fill it, right? But I think in our future, this whole concept of workforce optimization will be one of the best ways that we can help our clients. Tying your learning to real world behavior is the holy grail of learning in the first place, right? That whole Kirkpatrick pyramid is where I think we can really shine. Who knows, right? The tools are coming out, and the appetite for these toolings is growing. We'll have to see where the risk management teams take us as our clients start to adopt these things, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting intersection because, where Agent IQ is trying to provide agents with the right information at the right time, we're trying to train them, and it's all about trying to make your workforce better. And because still they're the people through which your customers experience your financial institution. That's the bottom line. It's still a people game, even though many of the transactions have migrated to digital. Advisory is still happening with humans, and even some transactions are still happening with humans. People aren't quite as ready to do large financial transactions digitally. They want to talk to people. There's still a bit of discomfort there. So it's really interesting to see how so much of it is trained on trying to make people better.
And that will not go away because, financial decisions are very emotional and personal. And I am convinced that for a long time, it will require relationships and understanding and trust to really, get the most out of it. And that is that human element that will not go away, right? And AI can help optimize certain things, but will not be sufficient to replace.
Any more questions? I want to say thank you to all three of you for participating and for sharing your insights on this. Super interesting to hear what BAC is doing, and amazing stuff that you're doing with Agent IQ. Congratulations on your success. And Alex, thank you for all of the cool stuff that you've implemented on the Lemonade platform to help our clients drive operational efficiencies.